Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about people who, as I say, has like narcissistic histrionic blend of behaviors. And just recently I saw online that some people, or maybe just one person, had, it was written, had called them histrionic narcissists. Now what I'm talking about, I'm not diagnosing anybody, I'm just talking about the behaviors that they have of people, narcissistic or histrionic behaviors. No diagnosis. And these people who, as I've mentioned before, they will take any kind of tragedy and find a way to gain something for it. It can be something like attention, money, could be food, clothing, phones, cell phones. Whatever they want and need at the time where they can get off of whatever person or people, they will do it. A tragedy. Now, it could be something real. It could be something very devastating for themselves or other people. And they use that to, like I said, get whatever it is they want. Like as far as it's somebody else's tragedy or near tragedy. And they use that as a time to get attention, maybe by, say something like they want to brag about themselves. Like that person's no contact with them, and a tragedy comes or near one, and they speak to them, and suddenly, it's all about them and how their life is going to go wonderful and all that. They could do something like, they're going to show put you on speakerphone and show everybody around them, that they are dominant and they control you and they are bossy over you. I couldn't help but laugh then because of the audacity. And they could do stuff like try to get money. Like I said, you're in a have a tragedy or near one, they will still try to get money off of you. Even try as far as blackmail. Okay. Now, it could be their own tragedy, too. Okay. Not two as in yours and theirs, but two, it could be. But it could be their own tragedy, not yours. And, like something devastating, like a family member of theirs passes away. Okay. Or it could be more than one. It could be their spouse. It could be their spouse and the child, or parent, grandparent, sibling, somebody, very close to them, somebody they're dating, whatever it is, they're very close to this person. And they will use that situation, that person passes, to get as much as they can, like money, okay, to cover expenses. Or like a GoFundMe, but they're not going to put on there that it's to cover the funeral, because that could be, they might have that money, or they might have something that part, whatever kind of insurance policy, and it's paid for, but they're going to ensure that they get money out of this somehow, some way, saying they won't have, it could really be true that it's the death is true. You can verify that, but like they don't have money, you can't verify that. For bills and living expenses, and it's out there right after that person dies, within, say, not even 24 hours, say a few hours, there's a GoFundMe from somebody else. From what I understand, the person who is the survivor has to approve that GoFundMe for it to go to them. It's out there, boom, online, boom. Now, these are people, say, these people in person, okay? But like I said, they were going to use any kind, it could be a natural disaster. Hurricanes. I grew up around hurricanes, so Hurricane Alley. There's no such thing, I don't think, but yeah, tornadoes too, so Tornado Alley. But I grew up near the coast, Gulf, and yeah, plenty of hurricanes. And too many, especially more recently. And anyway, they will use that to get money. They get money to get even as far as like They want people to buy them something like their phone was damaged, water damaged somehow, their cell phone, right? And you can't verify it, that their cell phone was damaged, because they can't use it, because, you see, they get somebody else that plays along with them that does the same kind of thing to say that, so they can get a new one. And then they suggest which one they want. Okay, a good, new, nice one. Brand new, latest model kind of thing. And it's not called model, is it? But they could go as far as, and I have seen this, as asking for a new RV, or just an RV. Okay, because of the natural disaster. They have no limits on this. Okay, and yeah, I mean, like I say, now it could be somebody, a loved one of theirs that passes away, and like I said, within a few hours, there it is, GoFundMe. And there's something else now too. It's not about money, giving money like GoFundMe, but it's like about items. And I don't remember, but they do that. Now we all know that these things are real. Some people, like, they lose a spouse, especially around my age, and that spouse, in their 50s and above and up. And they were reliant on that husband or wife for income, and then that person's suddenly gone, and they're not going to be able to survive. They don't know how they will. So they say. But we know this happens, and we know it's bad to focus. Here you are, you're feeling the grief for them. Okay, it's not necessarily empathy, because we all know when a spouse or a child or whatever dies, when a person is gone, that was somebody, we know would be close to them. We think that would be close to them. It's theirs. We know that that's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling. It should not be for anyone. We were taught this. We know this. And so we don't need to feel empathy. We do, probably, those of us who can, but others no. And that same person might not even feel anything, because they were just using that other person, like a spouse, or even a parent. They don't really have any real true connection. Like, they can't love. They can't care, really. It's just all about them and what they can get out of that person. So they will play the game. I know, I'm packing this full of a lot. Okay, now let me get to this part. Okay, how bad would you feel? You know that you might know the person, or briefly known that person, barely known them, heard of them, whatever. But you still can feel that this must be devastating for them. So you have those feelings yourself. And then when you feel sorry for that person, or not even really feel sorry. That's never, I don't think, a good way to put it. But you feel this. You feel for them. That they lost somebody so close. But then it starts coming back to you. The reason why you really don't have much contact with this person is because how they are. This narcissistic histrionic blend of behaviors. That they will use any tragedy, and repeatedly. There's going to be at least one or two, if not many, many more that you haven't heard of per year to them. Then it comes back and you say, oh yeah, okay. That temporary amnesia kind of thing when a person is abusive. Yeah. So it comes back to you, and here you are in kind of like a conflict in your own mind, because that has to be devastating, but you also know, and you don't think that it's good thought to have to go there even, and say, but this person's going to use this tragedy to get whatever they want at the time, and they will milk it, is the term, isn't it? And for all that they can get from it, and lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, it's really like, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there in your mind, but at the same time, you need to go there in your mind. You need to think this way, because you have been yourself. I don't like to say fooled by them, but we know that really that's the term for it. By them before, and once you figured them out, and they realize you figured them out, did things so you can't tell other people. They're going to make you look like you're just a liar and do that whole smear campaign behind your back, so nobody would believe you anyway, until they figure it out. And it's lather, rinse, repeat. They will always find new people, because they do the whole thing of being so sweet and loving and wonderful. Oh, you're such a wonderful person, and I'm going to donate donate quite a bit to your GoFundMe, and this kind of thing. Lather, rinse, repeat. Especially when you get around my age and older, these are my opinions. I could be wrong. This is my experience or my experiences, and they wouldn't be the same for anybody else. Okay, one size doesn't fit all. But they will continue to do these and find new people, and those new people become their flying monkeys. I know I left off somewhere, but I'm unpacking a lot, and pressure release valve. And they will continue, okay, until they get. I mean, it's just unbelievable that somebody can use such tragedies. And the bad thing is trying, you, like I said, might not have known the person or the people much yourself, but still there is a mourning. There could be, for people with real feelings, thoughts, emotions, whatever, there is still a sense of mourning. It could be, that they're going through too, stages of grief. And it's hard when this person is going to do it, and does immediately within a few hours. Has somebody do something like put up a GoFundMe and that other thing, whatever it is, so that they, for months, for the rest of the year, that they would get enough money for the rest of the year or the next year until they get back on their feet, which they won't until they find somebody else to use. They'll still be begging, because you've seen it many, many, many years. Say 50. Okay? Yeah. Okay, where was I? I try not to put kids in any of my videos, and one walked out in front of me, so I had to delete that clip, and I moved from there. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. So, oh well. But I think I was talking about that this is not this only one type of tragedy they would use, like a death in the family, or death in a close friend, or even somebody like near death, or somebody in your own situation. Natural disasters. They can do anything. Think of this, what is it, a cliche, or I don't think it would be an urban legend, but when people say a fender bender, and then suddenly they're wearing a neck brace, and they can take that little bitty fender bender. Okay, they can take, somebody just barely tapped their their bumper on their car or whatever. Now, you wouldn't know that, and you wouldn't verify it, but they will say that they were in a terrible, terrible, like I said, this whole thing, we've heard these before, haven't we? They're making just some terrible tragedy, and that somehow that little thing will become that they cannot make enough money to buy food, they cannot make their rent or mortgage. My age usually is more of a mortgage, and they can't pay their bills somehow, some way, and they might even buy one of those braces for their neck and say that a doctor told them to wear it, and they can't turn their head and all this stuff, and they'll use that to get money from people. If the other money train, gravy train or whatever, runs out, and when it runs out, they'll find some other way to get money from people. Now, along this way, sometimes people start to get a hint. But like I said, lather, rinse, repeat, and they find new people, and they do smear campaigns on those people so nobody would believe them anyway, so on and so forth. And yeah, they're going to. And now, some people say, well, it's nobody's business how people make their money, how people get money. If they're going to do this, it's nobody's business. Yes, it is. People who, my experience in life is the people who say things like that were fooled by people who did that, or they're just not there yet. But mainly it's people who do that and want to do that. They want to take that from that and learn and do it themselves, or they already are. My experience, that's the big one. They already are, or they're wanting to. And so they don't want it to put it out there like it's anything wrong with it. They want to start up practically a mantra, for everybody to go chanting, that it's nobody's business how people get their money. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Plain and simple, yes, it is. When it comes to something like that, yes, it is. These are the people, the ones who do this. They are abusing other people. Think about that person who is the victim, the person who believed in them, the person who went out there and gave them money. It comes so close to fraud if it's not indeed fraud. I'm not an attorney, I don't know. But, here they are, they're saying they had this big old horrible accident when basically somebody just bumped their bumper. Okay, it could have been somebody on a bicycle bumped their bumper. They're going to blow it up, And then somebody, like I said, finds out somehow, drives by their house and sees them not wearing, the thing anyway, and they're just doing whatever. It's all cliche. But go back and think about that person who donated for whatever cause it was, or gave them something, bought them that phone, bought them that RV, bought whatever that was, new clothing, new shoes, new, let's send them to have a spa day because they've been through so much tragedy. Let's, whatever. That person has been abused. That person now could go through this. Might not. One size doesn't fit all. They might go through this of saying, how could I have been so blind? They start doubting they stop trusting themselves and they stop trusting others. They could go through their whole lifetime being, mentally harmed. That's not the right way to put it, but for the rest of their lives, they're tainted by this experience. That they really trusted this person. Then they found out the person was lying, and the smear campaign behind their back started, and they took away from all of their friends or whatever, because those people still are either flying monkeys wannabes, or still fooled, whatever. Yeah. Think about them. But people who are going to do that are not going to think about them. Okay. And I definitely have had plenty of experience with this in my life. That whole smear campaign doesn't come out until later on. Why is this person on my tail? The whole smear campaign does not come out until, like I said, much later on. It could take a long time before a person even, because it's behind the back, the person's back. It could be a long time before they start to even notice, especially if you don't live anywhere near them, and then you go there for once a year or something, and why are these people treating me so wrong? Why are they treating me like they are all of a sudden? Smear campaign behind your back. Could be. Okay, and it might take might be you start thinking, well, what did I do wrong to them? Did I say something wrong? Was I mean? I was not mean. I'm not a mean person. What was going? You see, it brings about all kinds of doubts and changes their life whenever they, move back there or something, or they were just, whatever, on vacation and they came back, and all this, other people, and someone say, well, those other people, they weren't meant to be in your life anyway. No, the people who do this are master manipulators. They did it to you, didn't they? They can do it to others. You're gone, they work it. They know how to work it, especially if you know their secret. You know them for what they really are. Okay. Anyway, I think I put too much in this video. I want to start making shorter videos because I don't like the editing, and I listen through the whole video again. Oh, no. But I wanted to make more, to this, because there's a lot I want to unpack, and more videos. But when I say that, something else happens, and recently it's been deaths, plural. Okay, so I at one point was going to do more on this topic or that topic, and things come up too much. But yeah, anyway, I'll probably have to repeat some of it in other videos, so if you keep hearing, if I get to make them, if nothing else, when is my life ever going to be calm? Really? I think the big part of it is when you have these kinds of people in your life, even if you're no contact, when big things come up, and like I said, I'm going to have a lot to unpack on this. So, if I repeat myself in other videos, you know why, because each video is a separate video, and if anybody just jumps in and starts watching that one, hasn't watched the past ones, yeah. And because these people are lather, rinse, repeat types, it's going to sound like, well, didn't you just talk about this? Because, yeah, I did. I have a channel that I have mentioned 2 women who do these more than once, because it is, like I said, once, twice, at least, they do it a year. Okay. And I want to move on to talk about, more about, well, what are you going to do about it? Can you do it? I'm talking about, like, try to something legal, of course, like trying to get the word out, but they've smear campaigned you, okay, and you just trying to correct your own world, to all those smear campaigns to correct it. Yeah, I'll talk about those in other videos. All right, I'm wrapping this one up.